PlayStation Plus's August 2026 games have not been fully announced yet, but there is already a pretty interesting list we can talk about. Right now, we know for sure that one game is coming, while the other 3 games are among the most talked about predictions in the community. Honestly, if some of these predictions come true, August could really turn out to be a strong month. Today, we will look at which game is confirmed and which ones could possibly arrive. Let's get started. Our first game is Big Walk, and it is also the only confirmed title on the list. Developed by House, the studio behind Untitled Goose Game, Big Walk will be added to the PlayStation Plus monthly games lineup on the 4th of August 2026, the same day it launches. On top of that, it will not only be available for extra or premium subscribers, but for all PlayStation Plus members, including Essential, so we are not talking about any rumor or prediction with this game. We now know for sure that Big Walk will be part of the August lineup. Big Walk is an online co-op adventure game where we will explore a large and very strange world together with our friends. We will walk around together, try to solve puzzles, and constantly communicate in order to move forward. But the game does not present this like a normal co-op system. Sometimes reaching your friend, explaining the right path to them, or describing a problem you have encountered will become part of the game itself. On paper, it sounds simple, but when played with friends, it could create some very funny moments. One of the most interesting details for me is that the team behind Big Walk also developed Untitled Goose Game, because that game also looked extremely simple at first glance. We controlled a goose and annoyed people. But the developers used that simple idea in such a creative and entertaining way that the game quickly turned into a huge phenomenon. A similar situation could happen with Big Walk. An adventure that begins as a simple walk could turn into complete chaos, where our friends lose each other or every plan falls apart. I think the game coming directly to PlayStation Plus is also a very smart decision, because a game like Big Walk, designed to be played with friends, needs a strong player base at launch. I might have hesitated to buy the game separately, but when it is offered through PS Plus, I would definitely want to download it and try it with my friends. Many players will probably think the same way. This could help the game reach a large community as soon as it launches. But honestly, if Big Walk remains the only major game in the August lineup, I might feel a little disappointed. The game looks fun, but not everyone has an active friend group to play with. Some players also want a strong single-player experience instead of online co-op. That is why I think Sony needs to include bigger and more familiar titles in the rest of the lineup. When we look at Big Walk as the first confirmed game, I do not think this is a bad start, but how valuable this game feels will depend on the other titles in the lineup. Sony usually offers 3 monthly games, but in some periods, that number can go up to 4, so the other 3 games we are about to talk about may not all arrive. Now let's put the confirmed information aside and move on to the predictions the community is talking about the most for August. Our first big prediction is Atomic Heart. When I look at the current discussions in the PlayStation Plus community, this is definitely one of the names I see the most. In fact, some players are now predicting Atomic Heart almost every month. For now, there is no reliable leak confirming this, but it is still noticeable that so many people are expecting the same game. Honestly, I also think Atomic Heart makes a lot of sense as a possible addition to the August lineup. Atomic Heart takes us to a retro-futuristic and extremely strange world set in an alternate Soviet Union. Robots that were supposed to make humanity's future easier go out of control, and suddenly we find ourselves surrounded by mechanical enemies, failed experiments, and terrifying creatures. The game combines first-person combat with special powers, melee weapons, and environmental puzzles. If you like BioShock-style worlds, Atomic Heart's atmosphere will probably catch your attention. I was curious about Atomic Heart when it first came out, but I still have not bought or played it. So if it comes to PS Plus, it would definitely be one of the first games I download. That is already one of the best parts of subscription services for me. We finally get a chance to try games we have been unsure about buying, but have wanted to play for a long time. Atomic Heart fits exactly into that category. There is another development that makes the possibility of Atomic Heart feel logical. Atomic Heart 2 has officially been announced. We have seen many times before that game companies add the first game in a series to subscription services before an upcoming sequel. This way, new players discover the series, and interest in the sequel increases. In my opinion, if Munfish wants to bring the first game back into the spotlight, PS Plus could be a very strong opportunity for that. Also, since Atomic Heart was released in 2023, it has already passed its first major sales period. Despite that, it is still a recognizable, curious, and visually eye-catching game. If Sony adds Atomic Heart alongside a smaller and more social game like Big Walk, the lineup would instantly start looking stronger. On one side, there would be a fun co-op adventure to play with friends, and on the other side, there would be a big-budget action game we can experience alone. Still, We should not confuse Atomic Heart being talked about a lot with an actual leak. Right now, there is no confirmation from Sony, the developer, or a reliable insider. So we are talking about community predictions and why we think it could make sense. But if you ask me, which of these three predictions has the highest chance of coming? I would put Atomic Heart near the top of the list. And if it arrives, honestly, I would be very happy. Our next prediction is Hi-Fi Rush, and I think this game would fit the August lineup really well. Developed by Tango Gameworks, the game combines fast action with rhythm mechanics in a very creative way. Almost everything, from the animations in the world to the attacks, moves according to the rhythm of the music. But you do not need to have perfect rhythm to play the game. As long as you move at the right time, the game rewards you with stronger and flashier attacks. What separates Hi-Fi Rush from other action games is not only its music system. Its colorful cartoon aesthetic, fun characters, and constantly high energy give the game a truly different identity. Nowadays, many games offer dark, serious adventures that last hundreds of hours. Hi-Fi Rush, on the other hand, is shorter, more focused, and tries to entertain you from the very first minutes. Sometimes I need exactly that kind of game too. The game first came out for Xbox and PC, and later arrived on PlayStation 5 as well. So PlayStation players can access Hi-Fi Rush, but I still think there is a large group of people who have not tried it yet. In similar situations, a game being added to PS Plus can give it a second life. Suddenly, millions of new players download the game, it starts being talked about again on social media, and the title comes back into the spotlight. The studio behind Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks, went through a difficult period, but both the studio and the game's brand were saved by Krafton. That is why interest in the future of the Hi-Fi Rush series still continues. The first game coming to PS Plus could remind people of the brand again and create a larger player base for possible future projects. From a business perspective, we can say this would also be a logical move. Honestly, among these four games, Hi-Fi Rush is personally one of the titles I would most like to try. Its gameplay style, animations, and connection with music really look different. If you are one of those players who has kept delaying buying it separately, its arrival on the PS Plus lineup could be the perfect opportunity to finally start it. If it is offered together with Big Walk, the overall tone of August would also become very colorful and energetic. But there is no confirmed leak for Hi-Fi Rush either. The game's name keeps appearing again and again in current community predictions, but that does not mean Sony has definitely chosen it. In my opinion, Hi-Fi Rush is an extremely suitable game for the service, and its chances should not be ignored. But when I compare it with Atomic Heart, it is hard to say which one is the stronger candidate. If either one of them arrives, it would add serious value to the lineup. Our final prediction is Hades, and honestly, among this group of four, it is one of the games I see as the most logical choice. Developed by Supergiant Games, Hades is one of the most successful and beloved examples of the roguelike genre. In the game, we control Zagreus, who is trying to escape from the underworld. In each run, we try to reach the surface by using different weapons, divine powers, and ability combinations. Normally, games that are built around playing the same sections over and over can start to tire me out after a while, but I think Hades handles this much more intelligently. After every failed attempt, we encounter new dialogue, improve our relationships with the characters, and discover different pieces of the story. So when we die, we are not only going back to the beginning, we are actually continuing to progress through the story. This system seriously reduces the feeling of repetition. Hades' art, design, and music are also among the biggest reasons why the game is so beloved. The gods and characters from Greek mythology are reimagined in a very modern, colorful, and charismatic way. The combat is fast, smooth, and feels different with every new ability combination. If it arrives, this may not be a game we try for only a few hours and then leave behind. We are talking about a title some players could play all month or even spend hundreds of hours on. I think one of the biggest reasons Hades is a strong candidate right now is that Hades 2 has come to PlayStation 5. At a time when interest in the series has risen again, offering the first game through PS Plus would make a lot of sense. People who have not played Hades yet could try the first game, and if they enjoy it, they could move directly to the sequel. This could be a useful promotion method for both players and Supergiant Games. To be honest, if I had to make a personal choice among these four games, Hades would be one of the options I would be happiest to see. Even people who have played it before could start again, and those who have never played it could finally understand why it is praised so much. On top of that, since it offers a completely different genre from games like Big Walk and Atomic Heart, it would also increase the variety of the lineup. If Sony wants to prepare a balanced month that appeals to every type of player, Hades would be an extremely good choice. Of course, let's not forget that Hades has not been officially confirmed either. For now, the only game we know for sure is Big Walk. Atomic Heart, Hi-Fi Rush, and Hades are three strong candidates being discussed for the remaining spots. If Sony prepares a standard three-game lineup, only two of these predictions could accompany Big Walk. But if the number of games goes up to 4, then we may have a chance to see this entire dream lineup. In my opinion, if all 4 arrive together, August could become one of the most varied PS Plus months of the year. So what do you think about these 4 games? Will you try Big Walk with your friends? And which one of the remaining 3 candidates do you want to see the most? My choice leans toward Hades and Atomic Heart, but I definitely would not say no to Hi-Fi Rush either. Do not forget to share your own predictions in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, you can support me by liking it and subscribing to the channel. When Sony announces the official lineup, we will evaluate all the games again. See you in the next video.